Hello, guys, and welcome back. It has been a while since I've uploaded, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been very dry on my channel, but no need to worry, I am back with a brand new video, a unique type, I would say. It's slightly relating to my F1 commentary videos, except this time we will be participating in one ourselves, a 5 race championship. The layout different to the ones that we saw for the 2020 season, but yeah, we should have a bit of a twist with this one, make it a bit more interesting for you viewers. And there we are in our lime green car, matching our new theme to our channel. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have noticed that the name, the color, the logo, the banners changed. I've rebranded my channel to Luminos now, with a black and green color scheme. That should be well known from from this point forward, I should say. But yeah, here we are, just adjusting our setup. So this is going to be short qualifying. After this, it will be the sprint race, and then it will be the full race, which will be 25%. That should be about 14 laps. So, yeah, this will apply for the next few races, which will go across to Austria, Britain, USA, and then finally in Abu Dhabi. But in the meantime, all we need to worry about here is Bahrain. It's a very well-known season opener, as some of you may know if you follow F1, but it's a very nice season opener because it's so many overtaking opportunities. It's provided good racing, and it's never too late to get back to where you want to be. So now, as you can see, we are on our out lap, just trying to get the tires up to temperature so we can get a good flying lap. But unfortunately, we make a big mistake heading into turn 10. This corner really catches me out. And it does catch out quite a few other people as well, including the AI. You will see a mistake later on in the weekend, but in the meantime, we get ready to get a lap in to hopefully get us into the top 10. But I need to actually be able to get there. But after that atrocious outlap, we had a low battery, and that only got us into P8 at the time, but now into P16. And as we try to get another flying lap in, we lose it and get quite a heavy hit into the barrier. Surprisingly, we did not DNF. If we had, that would have cost us a lot of track position in the sprint race, but luckily we managed to recover. And now as the session ends, it's on to our final flying lap, and this one has to count. From P16, we need to get somewhere in the top 10 if we want to have a chance at winning the season opener. And as we come around the final corner, opening the DRS, we are 8 tenths up in fact, and that is enough to get us into P7. That is a very good final lap, and we are only essentially 3 tenths off of P1. Only due to these equal cars now, we are that close. But now, as the sprint race gets underway, Russell gets a bomb of a getaway. And I think, yeah, that's Vettel getting past us very quickly. But now we sent it down into turn 1. It's a very tight squeeze. Russell not making it easy for me, pushing me up against the track boundaries. But now as we go side by side with Alonso momentarily there, but now here comes Russell trying to get a move on us down the inside, heading into turn 4. Can he make the move stick? No, we can't. We tried to get ahead, but he's not backing out yet, not just yet. Through the S section here, he's trying to stick inside, but we just have the better track position and we managed to get ahead. We are up into P5 off the start of this first lap, and I reckon that's a very good start. Now Fernando Alonso holding position for quite a while. I'm trailing behind ever so slightly with the fastest lap, bear in mind. But yeah, you might realize we are on the final lap of the race. But yeah, we send it down up the inside into turn 1. But Fernando coming back around the outside, getting the switchback done. We squeeze him off the track just a little bit, but he's not over. He's going to go around the outside, heading down into turn 4. Can he make it work? Can he do what I did in lap 1, sorry? But no, he can't. He backs out and now has to face the wrath of Russell. But I think Russell backs out of that fairly quickly, knowing that it's not worth the risk on the final lap, especially considering it's a sprint race. But yeah, we managed to get some really good track position, but it's not over yet. Alonso can still get me into this next straight. I'm very bad at this corner, as you guys know, and we don't get the best of exits, and this will give Alonso the great chance to get a move down on me into this corner, into turn 11. I force him to take the outside line, I squeeze him, and he falls behind me ever so slightly, and I don't think he'll be able to get back unless he can send it into this corner. We make sure to cover off any line he could possibly be thinking of, but we go on to the penultimate straight, and soon to be the final corner. Alonso getting very close. We are forcing him to the outside once again. We know how weak Alonso is and the rest of the AI is around the outside, and that will be enough to get us the fastest lap and P4 for the beginning of the next race. And that is a very solid sprint race right there. That is promising. We have the pace, and that gets us 5 points along with our teammate Felipe Massa getting 1 point by finishing in 8th. I think he originally started in P11 or P12, but yeah, he will be starting the next race in P8.
It's race day, and our drivers are all out on the grid performing their final checks before we get underway here at the Bahrain International Circuit. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1 and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. And joining me once again in the commentary box today is, of course, former WEC champion Anthony Davidson. Now let's talk about Charles Leclerc.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
And now, as we move on to the big race, the 14-lapper around Bahrain, we should have a good chance. We have the inside line heading down into turn 1, and considering we're 4th place, I think we stand a good chance. But yeah, the strategy, we're going to be going from soft to mediums, and first we've got to go through this formation lap, get our tires up to speed, but we'll let the AI do this one, just to give us some preparation, or mental preparation, as it is. But yeah, let this be a chance for you guys to have a look at the livery we will have for the rest of the season. It was only a small glimpse, but taking what you can out of the small cinematic, we've managed to get a livery to make our nose look a bit better. To those who know what my team nose looks like, you'll understand how important it is to have a good livery to represent it better, but not all of you know, which is fine. But as we now line up in P4, we've got a good chance. And oh, I did not realize that's Sergio Perez at the very back of the grid. Maybe he had a grid penalty? I'm not too sure. But anyways, as we now get ready to get underway, 5 lights, and away we go. We get a fairly decent start up on Verstappen. He falls away just a bit, and that seems to be Russell in our mirrors, trying to get a move down up the inside. But now as we dive on Max Verstappen, he's trying to fight back, he's trying to push us off, and we do get pushed off the track, but we come on, we make contact with Max Verstappen, and to my surprise, Pierre Gasly comes out of nowhere, tries to make a move down the inside. We squeeze in between the two, and now Gasly and Verstappen fight for P4 as we pull away ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Leclerc and Hamilton fighting. Lewis getting back up into P1 where he originally was for the sprint race. of the start, that is. And also bear in mind, I'm not sure if any of you saw, but Charles Leclerc is the only driver on the whole grid to be using medium tires. So we're going to need to use that to our advantage. And now I tried to get a bit of a look down the inside into the final corner. It's just not possible. But we will be trailing behind Leclerc for the time being, because as long as we can stay nearby, we will have a high chance of getting the win. And now that's Leclerc trying to make a move on Lewis, heading down into turn 1. Can he make the outside move work? I don't think he can. He gets squeezed out. Those soft tires are severely better than those mediums, and we take advantage of the mishap, and we try to make a move around the outside of Lewis. Can we make it work? That Mercedes does have a bit of power to fight back against us, but we managed to take the lead from Lewis Hamilton, and along with that, a purple sector 1. So we are the fastest man on track currently. We just got to keep that going for the remainder of this lap, essentially. Now, the most limited mistakes we make, the more likely we will get the win. But as you can see just then, into turn 10, we made a very big mistake, and now Lewis trying to go around the outside. We force him to take the outside line once again. We've seen how powerful it is when it comes to defense, and definitely did not disappoint that time. Now, this corner seems to be where I gained the most time on the AI. As you can see on the delta and top left, we do gain quite a bit, a solid 10th, I reckon. But now as we fast forward onto lap 3, Max Verstappen getting ahead of both Hamilton and Gasly after some time, and now Verstappen getting close to us. He's going for the inside line. We try to push him off as wide as possible, but now we resort back to the outside, quickly sending it down, braking very late, trying to contest with Verstappen to get up to P1, but he gets ahead. But it's not over. Yes, we've got DRS. We can try send it down into turn 4. Can we make it work? We try to dummy it. We go around the outside. We don't have much of a choice. We've got to stick it in there. It's worked for us the past few times. Can it work for us again? We try to squeeze him to limit his access to track position, and we managed to get ahead for the time being, but all that has allowed Gasly to catch up with us, so that's added to the threat we've got to deal with for the remainder of this race. But it's far from over now. There's another DRS straight which Verstappen can definitely capitalize on, and he's trailing on us, and he's about to get a move down, possibly around the outside. We go side by side. We try to push him as wide as possible. We are holding the racing line. We're trying to leave him limited space, and we push him off enough for him to fall back in retreat. And I think that should secure us for the time being, or keep us safe at least. But that will not entirely stop him when it comes to the start-finish straight. That is the longest straight on the track, and there is nothing that can really stop him from blasting down that start-finish straight. Using the DRS, ERS, and my slipstream, I definitely think he's going to go for it again. He's got that slipstream, and he is a rocket. We're going to force him to the outside this time. We want to keep him where we want him. We're going to push him as far wide as possible, make him as vulnerable, or as, just as vulnerable as possible for Gasly to make a possible overtake, because Gasly looks quick, and as I say that, he makes a move, and we react way too late, and Gasly gets an opportunity to send it up the inside. We managed to squeeze him off a little bit. He does not have the expertise Max has, so therefore he backs off and falls behind Max consequently. But now here comes Max. He's going to pull up alongside us. We're going to brake a little early just to make sure we get the detection point. But we tried to make a move around the outside, but we go off the track. We go way too wide. That's going to cost us tons of time. Now Gasly is going to capitalize off of that. He's got a good run off of the final corner. It's going to be 3 wide, possibly down into turn 1. Who will come out ahead? This is our great season opener. And now as we go around the outside of Pierre Gasly, we try to get ahead as soon as possible, and we manage to make it work. But we have DRS, so one of us is the odd man out, and that seems to be I think that's Pierre Gasly who doesn't have it, or possibly Max Verstappen, but I reckon that was Pierre Gasly without DRS. But now as we head into the pit lane for a fresh set of mediums, we did need to push a solid amount, and we did get, well, we extracted, sorry, a full second on Pierre Gasly, and we got a purple middle sector. So we have the pace, we've just got to extract it at the most important points in this race, and that will definitely be towards the exit of this outlap and the end of the race. But in the meantime, we've just got to make sure we can get this undercut going, because any mistakes we make on this lap will cost us, and that really gets to me here. We kind of make a mistake, we slip and slide going off the track again. We seem to be quite vulnerable in that section of the track. It's happened to us many times, and we don't want it to keep happening again. The final set of pit stoppers are now into the pits. We should expect to see Gasly come out of the pits here. Yeah, he does, but we will come out ahead. The undercut has worked wonders for us. Even though we were on cold tires, we managed to get ahead. But Gasly getting ahead of Verstappen. Those are hard tires on Gasly, in fact, so he does end up falling behind. And Leclerc also ahead on mediums, who is soon to pit for either hards or softs. We are yet to find out, but Hamilton and P5 with the fastest lap, looking like a threat, but so does Max Verstappen, rocketing down the straight, the fastest we've seen him down the start-finish straight this entire race. But we send it up the inside into turn 1, better as a response, and now that leaves Max Verstappen a bit perplexed and stunned, and unable to respond for the remainder of the lap. But as I say that, he gets quite close, he comes alongside. We're going to do what we did last time, and we're going to let him take the detection point before us, which will allow us to get the DRS. But we learned from last time, we keep it on the track, going around the outside, and we get DRS, but that will matter nothing towards Max Verstappen, who gets around us. And can we make it down the inside once more? No, we go around the outside. We're barely hanging in there. We're going wheel to wheel with Max. We go around the inside into turn 2 and just about get ahead in turn 3. And I think we are fairly safe for the remainder of this lap. But that was a very, very risky move right there. I think if we manage to do that move again, we might end up losing the place entirely to Max. But now here comes Charles, sorry, in the pits, getting on a fresh set of hard tires, interestingly. I would think logically softs are the best choice to go with, but never mind that. Max Verstappen trying to go around the outside once more. We push him off, standard procedure by this point. Max trying to do the same moves over and over, neither of them proving to be sufficient. Now we make a big mistake into the seam corner, as you guys remember earlier in this race and also in qualifying, and that allows Max to get alongside us. We make a bit of a hiccup with the gear shifts, but we try to make up for it down the inside. We're pushing him off the track ever so slightly, but we take a very, very tight inside line. We catch Max napping, trying to make it through that long right-hander, and we send it down the inside. We go slightly side by side, and we push him off just a little bit, but Max is not finished with us. He's going to try go for the move. We didn't even need to lift off here. He takes the detection point before us. We go around the outside. We nearly go off, but we managed to keep the track on, we managed to keep the car on the track. But it's certainly not over. The story continues. Max Verstappen getting a good run. He's got the slipstream. Can he make the move around the outside, heading into turn 1 like he's done the previous times? But Gasly's getting involved here. He's trying to go around the outside of Max. I think it ended up going 3 wide. But that has cost both of them severe amounts of time. And as you can see, we are now a solid 2.7 seconds ahead of Pierre Gasly. And Charles Leclerc ends up getting Max Verstappen in the process. So the 2 hard tire runners behind us are now running fairly strong ahead of Max, not letting him get opportunity to overtake up into the podium positions. And now we simply just complete the rest of this lap on our slowly dying medium tires, but it doesn't matter. We come around the final corner as a victorious winner in 2022, the first race of the season, and we go out with a bang. It's 25 points towards our championship position, and that is an advantage we needed.
brilliant result. Well done. Another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
That is the best possible outcome we could have gotten here in Bahrain, and that was one hell of a season opener. If that's anything to go by for what we have for the rest of the season, I think we'll be in for a very entertaining and thrilling season. But it's a matter of can we get ahead of every other driver, considering that we're seeing people like Pierre Gasly up on the podium, in P2 for that fact. I definitely think we've got quite a big challenge. But for the meantime, I think it's best to enjoy this win. We collected a solid amount of 30 points, 5 from the sprint race, of course, and then 25 from the normal race, and that is Charles getting P2 by collecting 8 points from sprint and 15 from the normal race, and the same applying for the rest of the grid. Now, unfortunately, our teammate Felipe did not get such a great performance by finishing outside of the points, only collecting a grand total of 1 point this race. But it's not the end of the world, of course. There's more to take away from this race than just Felipe getting a bad performance. But I definitely think he has potential, considering what we saw in the sprint race. But it's only a matter of time. We'll just see what track works for him and what track doesn't. But we can't rush him, and that's the main important part. But now looking further down, Kevin Magnussen, unfortunately P22. And then, yeah, it seems everyone else just wasn't able to cut it. But yeah, looking at the race results, Pierre Gasly getting P2 all the way from P9. So that, yeah, that's a very solid performance, and no wonder he got driver of the day. And yeah, Charles Leclerc getting a P2. Valtteri Bottas, surprisingly, fastest lap. So he clearly has the pace, he just doesn't have the track position. I mean, considering he started from P17, maybe that might have had to do with something, but I definitely think that is a very tasty Grand Prix we've just had to go through. And as a matter of fact, I think let's have a look at the championship, because I reckon that we've got a good one on our hands. Now, 7 points behind is Charles Leclerc with 23 points. So we should see a bit of a competition from the Ferrari team in general. But yeah, there's Pierre Gasly with 18 points, tied with Max Verstappen, also having 18. But only 1 point behind is Lewis Hamilton with 17, and Fernando Alonso slightly trailing with 12. But looking further down, only I think that's about, yeah, quite a few cars did not get the points they wanted. I think that's around 9 cars that didn't get points, unfortunately. But looking at the constructors, our team topping the charts, only 5 points ahead of Mercedes, and Ferrari only 1 point behind them. However, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. One of many to come in the future, but don't worry, we will have a varied category of games that we will be showcasing on the channel. Not only F1, this is only one of the few projects I have coming for the channel. We may have a Fortnite video coming in the future. Some of you guys have definitely recommended that. You've been very vocal on it, but no need to worry, we will get all sorts of content for the future. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video and the next few to come in the future, hopefully. But anyways, guys, I'll see you next time for the next video. Goodbye.